If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be standing inside an LED volume, watching a generative AI paint a photoreal alien jungle around me in real time, I would have said, cool sci-fi, but check your render times.
And if you told me I'd be using AI not just to roto out a stray boom mic, but to generate a fully performable digital double from 3 frames of iPhone footage, I would have called my union rep and a lawyer in the same breath. Yet here we are.
Here we are. Welcome to the virtual pipeline. I'm Alex Chun, AI researcher, currently neck deep in neural radiance fields and generative video.
And I'm Jordan Reyes, virtual production supervisor. I've led VP stages for features, episodics, and one unhinged live concert that used Unreal Engine to put a holographic dragon behind a drum kit. Today, we're grabbing coffee from opposite sides of the tech art divide to talk about where AI and virtual production are colliding, and occasionally combusting.
We'll break down what's real, what's hype, what's terrifying, and what's going to change. Your next binge watch before you even hit play. No host, no filter, just 2 nerds with a mic.
Segment 1. Setting the stage. What are we even talking about?
Okay, Alex, level set for the people who think virtual production just means they shot The Mandalorian in a big TV room. I know you live more in the code than on set, so give me your definition of VP, and I'll tell you where you're wrong.
I would never dare. But my working definition, virtual production is the convergence of physical filmmaking and real-time digital environments. You've got an LED volume, massive high residential screens, driven by a game engine, camera tracking that updates, perspective live, and actors performing in camera with final pixels. But VP is bigger than volumes. It's previs, techvis, simulcrum, real-time compositing, performance capture in camera VFX. It's the whole pipeline of using game engine tech to collapse post-production into production.
Not bad. I'd add that VP is also a philosophy now. Shoot with the end in mind. Instead of fix it in post, it's see it on the day. The LED volume is the poster child, but I've done entire VP shoots where the volume was just an iPad with a tracked virtual camera, an actor, and a green screen that Unreal was keying and replacing live. The common thread is real-time decision-making powered by real-time rendering.
Right. And that's where I jump in with AI, because real-time is demanding. You can't wait overnight for a render. AI is now doing everything from speeding up that render, to generating the assets you're rendering, to cleaning up the tracking data, to creating performances that never happened. We're moving from AI as a post tool to AI as a live collaborator on set.
Which is both exhilarating and absolutely pants-wetting if you've built a career on doing those things manually. I want to get into that tension. But first, when you say AI, most of our listeners think ChatGPT or Midjourney. What specific branches are you seeing hit VP hardest right now?
3 big clusters. 1. Generative models for image, video, and 3D, think diffusion models, like Stable Diffusion and now Video Diffusion. 2. Neural rendering, like NeRFs, Gaussian splatting, and neural radiance fields that can reconstruct 3D scenes from a handful of photos. 3. Discriminative AI, the stuff that analyzes footage, roto, depth, estimation, face tracking, mocap cleanup, semantic segmentation. All of these are speedrunning things that used to be slow, expensive, or impossible in real time.
That tracks. On the volume stage, I'm already seeing AI in graying. Let's dig in.
Segment 2. AI on the virtual production stage. Today's Toolbox.
Let's start with the LED volume itself. The promise is, director looks at the wall, and the world outside the window is a living, parallax-correct environment. The nightmare is that world is 2.5D and looks like a PlayStation 3 cutscene if you get too close. How is AI raising that ceiling?
The most immediate thing is super resolution and upscaling. NVIDIA's DLSS is the classic. Render a scene at a lower resolution internally. Use a neural network to upscale it to 4K or 8K on the screens and maintain sharpness with temporal stability. In an LED volume, you're often outputting to multiple 4K feeds with Genlock. AI upscaling lets you push more geometry, more complex lighting, without melting the hardware. But beyond upscaling, we're seeing AI-driven texture detail, like neural texture compression, and even AI in painting for set extensions. Imagine you have a physical set piece, a practical rock, and the screen behind it needs to seamlessly continue that rock into a CG cliff. AI can analyze the real rock's texture, lighting, and edge, then generate a photoreal extension onto the volume that matches the exact camera angle in real time.
We did something low-tech like that manually for a fantasy series. Art department built half a throne room, and we projected the other half. The parallax broke if the camera dollied more than 3 feet. With AI and painting per frame, guided by depth, you could theoretically mask that transition way better. I've also seen demos where AI generates a depth map from the 2D footage of the practical set in real time, so Unreal can place volumetric fog and lighting that feels integrated. That was a "please take my money" moment.
Depth estimation is a silent hero. Monocular depth nets now run at 30 frames per second on a laptop. In VP, you can pull real-time depth from a witness camera, then use that to drive virtual shadow casters, reflections, or even autofocus pulls. But the mind blower for me is AI. Assisted camera tracking. Inside-out tracking like Vive Mars or MO-Sys uses visual markers or SLAM. Occasionally you lose lock or drift in weird lighting. AI-based relocalization models can re-identify the scene from a single frame faster and more robustly than traditional feature matching, meaning the virtual camera snaps back without the operator waving a calibration board.
Okay, as someone who has screamed "lost tracking" over comms while 100 extras wait, that is not small. I do want to prod you on the generative stuff, because this is where I get uncomfortable in a good way. Virtual art department, concept artists, asset builders, AI image generators are already controversial. Are you seeing AI move from 2D concept to actual production-ready 3D assets for the real-time stage?
Absolutely, and it's happening in stages. First, concept, you prompt Midjourney or Stable Diffusion for environment mood boards, feeding them into look dev. The jump is now text to 3D or image to 3D. Tools like Luma AI's Genie, Meshi, or NVIDIA's Get 3D can generate textured 3D meshes from text or single images. The quality isn't always hero asset level, but for background set dressing, crates, distant ruins, foliage, it's shockingly usable. In a volume, you need a lot of environment to cover 270 degrees. AI can populate the far-field assets, leaving human artists to hero the things actors interact with.
I've tested some. The topology is a trash fire, but Nanite and Unreal can eat trash fire for breakfast. Throw the AI-generated mesh into Nanite, and you don't even need to retopo. I did a cyberpunk alley where 70% of the background greeblies were AI generated. My environment artist was skeptical, then relieved when it freed her to focus on the hero neon signs and rain interaction. She called it adopting a chaotic intern.
Chaotic intern is the perfect term for today's Gen AI, but the real-time, on-set killer. App, generative set extensions via NeRF or Gaussian splatting. Imagine you scout a real location, a Scottish castle ruin. You take 200 photos with an iPhone, and by the next day you have a neural radiance field that you can fly a virtual camera through with full parallax lighting baked in. On set, you can load that NeRF or 3D Gaussian splat right into the volume, blend it with CG elements, and suddenly your actors are performing in a photoreal capture of a real place, without the travel. There are companies doing this. Now, it's not a prototype.
We did that for a period piece. We had a castle interior that was a 30-minute drive away. But the schedule didn't allow. We captured it with a drone and a DSLR, turned it into a Gaussian splat, and then in Unreal we used it as the background plate with a CG extension for a magic portal. The director couldn't tell the splat from the photography. It's bonkers. But lighting it is still tricky. The splat is a baked light field.
Which is where AI relighting comes in. There are neural methods now that can take a Gaussian splat and relight it with new HDR environment maps. It's not perfect, but it's closing. Soon you might capture a location, bring it into the volume, and dynamically relight it to match your virtual sun. That's the convergence. The real world becomes a plastic, relightable asset.
Segment 3, the actor, the avatar, and the AI.
Let's pivot to the human side, literally. Performance capture, digital doubles face. Replacement. AI is rewriting the rules of what's performable. I just wrapped a shoot where we had a leading actor play a younger version of himself. The old way, 3D scan. Hand sculpt, blend shapes, animator massaging. The new way, we used the real-time deepfake system on set.
Tell me more. What pipeline?
We had a body double on set performing. The AI system, trained on the lead actors. Younger face from hours of archival footage swapped the face live, on the SDI feed to the director's monitor, and even composited into the LED volume's virtual camera. It wasn't final pixel, it was a live previs. What you see is what you get. For the director to judge performance. Then the raw plate and metadata went to post for a high fidelity offline deepfake. The live quality was good enough to make the producers cry.
And the actor's reaction?
Fascinated and mildly horrified. He gave consent, was heavily involved, and even directed the double's mannerisms. But we had to have a SAG AI clause, a digital likeness agreement, and an on-set data security protocol that rivaled nuclear launch codes. The ethical side hit us like a truck. More on that later. What's the tech under the hood for? Real-time face swap?
Likely a GN or a lightweight autoencoder-based face swap running at 30 frames per second. Some use. A modified deep face lab or similar architecture optimized with TensorRT. The leap is that now we have zero-shot models that can do one-shot face reenactment, even handling extreme angles and occlusions, driven by just a few reference images. So the training the AI on the actor's step is shrinking. In a VP context, this means a director could, on the fly, say, what if this character looked like my old headshot, and see it live. Scary, but creatively potent.
We're going to see AI digital doubles move from body double with face swap to full performance generation. I've seen demos where you input a voice performance and a few images, and AI synthesizes a full 3D talking head with emotional range, lip sync, and even torso gestures. If you then take that AI-generated performance and slap it onto a metahuman rig in Unreal, you have a virtual actor that can deliver lines no human ever recorded, while reflecting the real-time lighting of the volume.
And control is via text or audio. You can direct it like, more sad, less angry, look to, camera left. That's a paradigm shift. The question becomes, is this a tool for previs blocking, so the real actor later replaces it? Or do we start accepting AI performances as final in certain productions? I'm seeing indie filmmakers embrace synthetic narrators for documentaries, AI-generated background crowds. The line is blurring.
I'll be blunt, the best performance still comes from a human. But when you need 100 distinct crowd actors, all with different faces, different walks, reacting differently, no amount of extras casting can do it without staggering. AI can synthesize that crowd with enough variation to pass the Turing test on a wide shot. That's a practical win that doesn't steal an actor's job, it creates a job we couldn't achieve. Before.
I'd add AI mocap cleanup. Traditional optical mocap is noisy, needs hand fixing. AI-based solvers can denoise, predict occluded markers, and even solve for body shape in real time. Move.ai and Radical are doing markerless mocap from a few iPhones using deep learning. On a VP stage, you could have an actor in costume, no suit, and stream their skeleton into Unreal to drive a CG creature live. The director can see the dragon emoting alongside the actor in camera with correct shadows. That's transformative.
And that live feedback closes the loop. The actor sees the dragon in the volume, mimicking their movements, and they adjust their performance. It's not just tech, it's a new acting technique. I've seen stage actors completely change their physicality when they see their virtual avatar react with a 50 milliseconds delay. It's like improvisation with your digital twin.
Segment 4, the post-production collapse and real-time AI.
One thing that keeps me up, are we killing post? VP already aims to final pixel on set. But AI is accelerating that to a crazy degree. Real-time compositing, AI denoising of ray tracing, real-time AI color grade. At what point do we just pipe the camera feed directly to a DCP?
We're not quite there, but real-time AI tools are making the good enough for final bar much lower. NVIDIA's Optics AI denoiser is already inside Unreal for path tracing. You can now do ray-traced lighting in a volume with low sample counts per pixel, and AI cleans it up to cinematic quality at 24 frames per second that used to require offline render farms. Then, you have AI keyers for green screen or LED, run a neural matte extraction that handles hair, motion blur, and spill better than a traditional chroma key, all in real time.
I saw a demo where they used a real-time AI keyer on an LED stage because they needed to composite a foreground actor against a virtual set extension that had complex transparencies. The AI keyer wasn't just pulling a matte, it was doing AI in painting to fix edge artifacts from LED more. My jaw was on the floor. But post is not just comp, it's storytelling, pacing, editing. Do you see AI editing live multicam streams from a VP shoot?
Possibly. AI could do a rough assembly edit in real time based on a script breakdown and director preferences, like an auto switcher for a live broadcast. But I think creative editing remains human for a long time. However, AI-assisted post tools that drastically speed up roto, wire removal, tracking, and even relighting a shot, those are already turning weeks-long processes into hours. That means a VP shoot could deliver almost turnkey, with post being more polished than reconstruction.
We're also seeing AI do automated object removal or set extension fix-ups in real time. On the volume. If the LED wall shows a seam, AI paints it. If a prop breaks, AI generates a replacement plate. The stage becomes self-healing. I've used a prototype where an AI monitors all camera feeds and alerts the VP operator if parallax is breaking or if green spill is detected. It's like an AI DIT.
That's essentially an AI guardian angel. And with large language models, you could even have a voice assistant on set. Hey stage AI, what's my current focal length and color? Temperature? And it answers via comms. But we're already in the deep end. Let's address the elephant in the LED room, ethics.
Segment 5, the ethical tangle and the fear.
I mentioned on-set deepfake protocols. We had to air-gap the training data server. The actor's digital likeness agreement had a sunset clause. The AI face can be used for this project only, all training data destroyed after final delivery. But we both know that dataset could be stolen, or the tech could be reused without the actor's consent. What's the researchers' take on this? Are we building safeguards or just faster centrifuges?
That's the uncomfortable truth. The open source genie is out of the bottle. You can download a model right now that generates a photoreal talking head of any celebrity in seconds. In virtual production, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it empowers creators who can't afford a star. They can create a synthetic actor with consent from a licensed marketplace. The AI community is working on watermarking, content provenance, C2PA standard, and detection classifiers, but they're cat and mouse.
From the production side, the unions are scrambling. SAG-AFTRA's recent strikes put AI consent and compensation on the table. In VP, we're seeing a new role emerge, the digital likeness supervisor, like an intimacy coordinator but for data. They ensure informed consent, data chain of custody, and that no one's face gets recycled into a crowd sim for a different show. It's a whole new production department.
Beyond actors, there's the job displacement anxiety. Concept artists, texture artists, roto artists, match movers. AI is encroaching, but I've seen it more as role transformation. The concept artist becomes an AI art director, curating and refining generated outputs. The roto artist becomes a quality control specialist for AI madness. It's upskilling, but it's painful, and not everyone can or wants to adapt.
I've had tough conversations with my team. I told them, I'm not going to replace you with AI, but I might replace you with someone who uses AI if you refuse to engage. That sounds harsh, but the industry is moving. I also think we'll see a counter movement, productions that proudly say, no AI-generated content, like a label for handcrafted visual effects. And there will be an audience for that.
Transparency is key. If an AI-generated performance is indistinguishable from a human's, audiences deserve to know. I advocate for end credit labels, AI-assisted performance, AI-generated environments. Then it's a creative choice, not a deception.
In VP, the ethical debate gets physical. If an LED volume recreates a deceased actor with AI and holography, is that a tribute or grave robbing? We already saw the holographic Tupac. Now imagine a full feature where a classic star performs alongside living actors in an LED volume, in real time, with AI-generated line delivery. The technology is almost there. We need cultural and legal guardrails before the first green light.
Segment 6. What's coming next? The 5-year horizon.
Let's move.
Let's shift to crystal ball time. In 5 years, what's your every VP stage has this AI tech? That's currently a lab demo.
Fully dynamic AI-generated environments that respond to the narrative in real time. Imagine a horror film, the director says. Make the shadows creepier. And the AI environment model shifts the lighting and adds spectral figures in the background that move differently each take. The volume becomes an improvisational partner. Also AI directors of photography? Virtual camera AI that can suggest compositions based on a database of classic cinema, but live. I think AI will assist, not replace, the DP.
I'll give you one. Neural rendering will replace traditional rasterization in game engines. For VP, we'll have AI models that directly synthesize a photoreal view from a sparse 3D. Scene representation, camera pose, and lighting parameters. No polygons, no shaders. Just a neural network generating pixels. NVIDIA's DLSS is the first step, but imagine a neural engine that renders the entire scene like a real-time NeRF or a Gaussian splat. That can be edited non-destructively. That would crush the uncanny valley.
If that happens, the distinction between captured plate and CGI evaporates. We'll be in a fully synthetic reality that's photo-perfect. The challenge will be keeping it grounded. But I see live AI generative audio too, Foley, ambiances, even dialogue replacement in real time. We'll shoot in a silent volume, and AI creates all the sound design to match the virtual world, spatialized for the soundstage.
Another big one, AI as a previs and storyboard tool that evolves into final shot. Hey, director sketches a stick figure on a napkin, the AI turns it into an animated sequence in a rough 3D world, then iterates with verbal feedback until it's a polished sequence. That Polished sequence then drives the LED volume for the actual shoot, but the AI previs is so good they might just keep some shots. The film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, had a small VFX team using AI-like tools. We'll see an indie revolution.
Democratization is the bright side. A film student with a laptop and a $500 LED wall. Panel setup can make something that looks like a blockbuster, because AI fills in the missing crew. The dark side is deepfake propaganda at scale. But I believe the creative benefits will outweigh the harms if we stay vigilant.
I think virtual production will eventually leave the volume. Augmented reality glasses on. Location, AI and painting to replace the real world with the story world, tracked actors. You'll shoot in a parking lot that becomes a Martian colony live in the director's viewfinder. AI does the heavy lifting of semantic scene understanding and replacement.
We'll be like kids with magic crayons. And we'll need to remember that story and performance are the soul, AI is the brush. If we lose the human heart, it's just a tech demo.
Segment 7, Lightning Round and Closing.
Lightning round. One-word answer, or short phrase. Favorite AI tool you can't live without right now?
Gaussian splatting for location capture. Game changer.
Stable diffusion with ControlNet for on-the-fly set variation concepts.
Biggest misconception about AI and VP?
That it's push button, get movie. It still takes artistry to guide, iterate, and curate. The chaos in turn needs a manager.
Mine, that AI will replace directors. It won't. It'll replace the tasks that keep directors from directing.
If you could wave a wand and solve one tech limitation tomorrow,
AI-driven real-time reliable volumetric capture of humans. Full body, no suit. Emotion and micro-expressions, editable lighting. That's the holy grail.
I'd make neural rendering production ready. Infinite geometric detail, no meshes. Directable and fully interactive at 120 frames per second.
One piece of advice for a VP newbie wondering about AI.
Learn to be an AI-first problem solver. Don't fight the wave, but build your creative signature on top of it. Your taste and judgment matter more than ever.
And from me, understand the traditional craft first. Know why light behaves the way it does, how a lens flares, why an edit cuts at frame 14. AI is a multiplier of your knowledge. If you're empty, it multiplies 0.
Poetic. We should end there before you make me cry.
Too late. I'm already imagining a sad AI violinist playing us out.
This has been the Virtual Pipeline. I'm Alex Chun.
And I'm Jordan Reyes. You can find us both haunting the Unreal Engine forums and occasionally touching grass.
If you enjoyed this, share it with a gaffer who still calls it computer stuff. We'll be back with more intersectional chaos. Until then, keep your volumes calibrated and your datasets ethical.
Over and out.
And that's it, folks. Thanks for listening. We hope you learned something new, and have a great day.